1 minute, wait. Share application if you cannot. What happened? Is the screen is visible?
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay, okay. So let's start one friction problem. Actually, friction is as per your syllabus. One is the inertia problem and the friction problem. Both are important. So today I will give you one numerical problem. Previous class I already give you, I have given one numerical problem. Have you solved that one? Home assignment I already told you. Have you solved that one? No or yes? What happened? Please move this window. Okay. This one may be your home assignment, na? Yesterday I have given. Have you remember anyone or forgot? Can you solve this problem at your own so that I can continue the next problem? Is it possible for you to solve, or should you need a small hints about that? This angle, if we consider this angle, this is actually 10 degree. Please tell me which one you prefer actually. Should I give the free body diagram and you can solve at yourself, or should I continue whole problem I have to solve? Which one you prefer? You just tell me, or simply skip this one. Please tell me at least. Shall I give some hints for this? Hello. Hello students. Okay. Then I will give you a little bit hints about that. Suppose you have, it is given that these all are the surface. Hmm, and here here in the in, please mute yourself. Suppose consider that coefficient of friction at all surfaces means here this contact surface, this contact surface, this contact surface, and this contact surface. All contact surfaces are same coefficient of friction. If you consider it is a magnitude of 0.25, then if you need to find out what is the P minimum is how much, we have to find out this one. Okay, so to solve this type of problem, what you first want to do, that is you have to apply some force here. So if you want to apply some force, it means this body, this, if we say this is A, this is B, this is C, then block A tends to move in the upward direction. So to draw, the free body diagram, what we have to do, simply isolate that body first. Hmm? And what is coming here? Please move this window away from the shared application. And if this block tends to move in the C, tends to simply it mean this is the block actually, huh? This is your block C, this is your block B, and this is your block A, huh? So if you want to push this block C in this direction, then what happened? Simply this body will move in, block A will move in the upward direction, right? So if block A move in the upward direction, then the coefficient of friction acted on this surface and the wall, means block A and the wall surface, that is in the downward direction, and the normal is always perpendicular to the body. So if we consider this one in A and F1 and N1, they, and it is given as per question that this is 400 pound. So what happened with this? And if it move in the upward direction, then remember one thing, that here this friction, as this is a fixed na, this one, this body B or block B is with this and also with the wall. So what happened actually, there is a no friction between these two, so we can consider block A and block B as a single entity. Okay, because you can see here that this block B and block A, there this block B is not movable unless and means only it move in the upward direction. So there is no friction between this block A and block B. Try to remember, if this block A, suppose if this block A, suppose in is like that. Hmm. Suppose it is like that, and block C, suppose it is like that, then you can say that here have some friction. But here, as this block A and block B both attach with this wall na, so they have only one motion in upward direction. So that's why we can consider block A and block B as a single entity, and we have to put the friction as it is move upward direction and C move in this direction. So for this, if you draw the all the forces which is acted on the body, that is here, this is F3, this is the normal, this is the force P, and as you move this one and in this direction, so it is F2 and this is the N2. And remember, same thing in the opposite direction have to apply here. So here this is the F and this is the N2. Is it clear up to this? Anyone have any question up to this? This is the free body diagram for block C, this is block B, this is block A. Anyone have any question? You can ask. Are you there, student?
No doubt, sir.
Uh, which one? Anyone have any question? You can ask. Any confusion? You can ask. Means can I need to explain again this how this frictional force direction. Which one you want to ask? Please tell me.
Sir, F2 explain again, sir. Force
Okay,
2.
okay, okay, okay. See, actually this is block A, block B, block C na. So for block C, if you apply this force in this direction, it means this block C have a tendency, suppose this is the previous condition, you apply force, these have the some tendency na, to move in this direction. Is it okay na? It can move na, in this direction, in this direction it can move. So if this block C move in this direction, then the friction force acted between this block C and the ground surface. Na? This is the ground surface. Block C and the ground surface, there the frictional forces occur. And in which direction the friction force occur? The friction force always act opposite to the applied force. Okay, so if you apply force in this direction, or in a better way we can say the friction force acted opposite to the motion. So if applied force is here, this body move in this direction, so friction force acted opposite to the direction. So here it is in this direction. Is it clear? So that's why I draw this friction force in this direction. And the normal is always perpendicular to the surface. Similarly, for this contact surface, means upper contact surface, here same na, as this move in this direction, so your block contact surface in the friction force should be in the opposite direction. So that is the this is the directional way of the block C, and this is the opposite direction. As this is inclined, so the friction force also inclined, and the normal is perpendicular to the contact surface. So that's why we draw this one. Now, as this for C, the this one is a common surface na, this surface is common for block C and block B. Is it right? See this one is a common surface na, for block C and block B for both. So if the friction force is in this direction for block C, then the friction force is the opposite direction for block B, because they have some friction na? Same, suppose this is one block, this is another block. So if this block move in this direction, then friction force, if we consider for this block, is in this direction, right? This is your force F. So this is your friction force F1. Now if we consider this is A, this is B, for block B the friction force is in the opposite direction. Clear? Because both have to neutralize to maintain the equilibrium of the system. Our main intention to maintain the equilibrium of the system, right? So these are neutralize each other. So in such a manner we have to draw the free body diagram. So that's why, as this friction force is in this direction, we have to apply the friction force in the opposite for block B. Up to this, is it clear now?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now there is a two way you can solve. Either simply you just draw this and put summation of fx is equal to 0, summation of fy is equal to 0, summation of fz is equal to 0. As here fz is not there, so now no need of this. So fx, this is a too difficult na? So one thing you can do, either this is your p, this is your normal, this is your f3, and here this one is normal and this one is your f2, right? Either you can solve these five, or there have, or you can apply here actually Lami's theorem. You can also apply. How you can apply? Now convert these two force into a resultant force. Okay, if you convert this into the resultant force, then only you can apply. How? Simple. How you can solve? No, as, see, this one is your f and this one is your n. So what is the resultant for these two? That should be in this direction, right? This should be your resultant, right or wrong? See, simple. This is your normal. This is your resultant. So, sorry, this is your another frictional force. This is your normal force. So, in which direction this resultant is acted? In this direction. Clear? So, you can simply put the resultant here. How? Just see this one your phi. this is your resultant. You can also means that called the summation of two vector na? In the chapter 1 or chapter 2, summation of two force vector, then we get the resultant. So you can put that vector in such a term, and this will create a phi angle. Is it clear or not?
Clear, sir?
Similarly, here you can see this is your normal and this is your friction. Na? So in which it means here it is normal. So your resultant is in this direction. Clear? In this direction your resultant. It means if your normal is this one, they have resultant in this direction. This is R2, this is R3, and this one is how much? Phi, and this one is how much it is? Given 10 degree for that body. Na? It is given 10. So, and this is your P. Clear? Now you may have some question that, sir, why this phi and this phi are equal? Because you can see in the question it is given 0.25 na, sorry, 0.25. In question it is given all for all surface it is same. If it is different for different surface, then the phi you have to write instead of phi, phi 1, phi 2. For different surface different magnitudes are there, but in this question as given the phi are, sorry, coefficient of friction is same, so that's why phi are same. Okay, they're called the friction angle, right? So now this is the block for block C. Now for block A, you, where it is, for block A and B, just see here, block, where it is, block A and B, these are the normal, these are the friction force, normal force, friction force. So we can also convert it into the resultant force system na? So to convert it into the resultant force system, what we have to do, simply draw this one. This is 400 pound said. This one, as they are already in such a manner na? So our resultant should be in which direction? This is your normal, this is your friction, so resultant should be in this direction. So if it is horizontal, then this is your resultant, and this one is also phi. This we can say R1. Similarly, here also same thing. This is vertical, 10 degree given, and same way you have to draw the phi, where this one is the R2. Same na? This force, this portion, and see this surface and this surface same, right? Means this portion and this portion are same. So that's why whatever the resultant force acted on this surface, same resultant force acted on this surface. Clear? So now you can apply what? How you can solve this now? I told you na. How can you solve? Using Lami's theorem simply. How? See, draw this axis. Draw here the applied force where, okay, for this one first I draw this one, huh? So here it is given 400 pound, here it is given 5, so that is R1, that is phi, and phi is how much? Phi is nothing but the tan inverse of 0.25, right? So it is how much? Tan inverse of 0.25 is how much? Please tell at least anyone.
14.03, sir.
14.03 degree. So It means one force in this direction, that is 14.03. Another is R2 na here. So here we have to draw the R2. So to draw the R2, this angle should be how much? This angle should be more. Why? Because you can see phi as well as the 10 degree. So that should be 24.03 degree. And this is another, that is 400 pound. So from here you can easily find out the two different magnitude, R1 and R2. How? You know Lami's theorem, how to put 400 divided by sine, how much it is then? This angle is how much then? This angle, this is 90, this is 24, this is 14. So it is nothing but sine 128 na approx, and is equal to r1 by sine, r1 by sine this angle. This angle is 90, means 180 minus 24, right? 180 minus 24. And r2 is nothing but, r2 is nothing but this angle divided by this angle. So sine, how much it is? 90 minus 14. Okay. And you, so from here you can easily find out R2 and R1, right? Clear up to this? Up to this, is it clear? Anyone have any
Yes, sir.
confusion up to this? Is it clear, right?
Clear, sir.
Hmm. Now similar thing we have to apply for this portion also. This is block A and B, na? This is block C. So for block C we also use the Lami's theorem. See how simple it is. First there have five forces, na? F1, sorry, F2 N2, F3 N3 and P, total five force. You have to either solve using Fx or Fy each, or you can simply convert it into the resultant, and using the Lami's theorem we just convert or easily solve that type of problem, right? So now same thing we have to apply for block C. In block C, as you already got that this is some angle, that is nothing but the 24, because this is also R2, right? And this is the R3, this is the, हाँ ये तो मैं यहाँ पे तो कर दिया, उसको क्या करना है? कर दिया क्या? मतलब यहाँ पे किया है, मैम के साथ कुछ डिस्कस नहीं हुआ है। मैम मैम के पास जाके इसको वेरीफाई कर दो सर, लिस्ट लेके। ठीक है। And this one is the applied force. So we just convert it into the in the Lami's theorem. So to put this into the Lami's theorem, what we have to do? R3, this is R2, and this is the, okay, it is better to draw in different color, na? This is P, and this is R2, this is R3. This angle is how much? R3. What is the angle for this? Only 5. So this is 14 degree, na? 14 degree. And this one is how much? 24. 5 plus 10. So this is 24. And this is P. So P we have to convert it into the so you know to value. So R2 by sine how much? R2 by sine 90 plus 14 is equal to P by sine, P by sine 180 minus 14 plus 24, right? This amount 180 minus 24 and 14 both are deducted. So that is this angle, na? this angle is that one. So from these two you can find P's magnitude. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
You can solve, na? Now you can solve. Just use the calculator and put that value, what the value is. Okay, let me please tell me then what are the value actually. R, R1 is how much then? Just see, 400 divided by sine 128 degree into sine 180 minus 24. How much it will come? R1? Better to, so R2. Just find R2. R2 is nothing but sine 90 minus 14 means 76. So sine 76 degree into 400 pound divided by sine 128 degree. So please tell me how much, what is the value? This is R2. What is the value?
492.5, sir.
492.5 or 493 you can take, na? 493. And if it is 493, put that value is here. R2 here. Put it is 493. So 493 divided by sine 90 plus 14 in sine 104 and multiplied with sine 180 minus 14 plus 25. This is 38. So this is sine, this is P by sine 140, how much? 38, 142. This is sine 142 and this is 490 divided by sine 76, na? Sorry, sine plus 104. Tell me how much the P then? 493 divided by sine 104 into sine 142. How much it will be? How much it is?
312.81.
Yes, 313, na? 313 pound. So it means you have to apply this amount of force here so that this block is not moved. This block is in equilibrium. Okay. Okay. Now come another type of problem. This is also in the similar nature, but little bit tricky. Uh, okay. Let's start that problem. Mm, See, suppose in a wall there have a hinge. Okay, through that hinge, suppose a what can I say? You can say a circular or semicircular arc, huh? Rod type. Suppose this is circular, huh? If it is semicircular curve is there, and if the applied force is here, whose radius is 0.3 meter. This is portion A, this is contact portion B. Means can you understand the problem that you have to apply this force so that this rod, semicircular rod AB will move in the upward direction, na? Is it possible to understand for you? Please try to understand properly first question, that this is your hinge, means this semicircular rod can move in such a manner upward, na? It can go in the upward direction because this is a hinge joint. It can rotate actually. Hmm. So if it is such that, then we have to apply a wedge here Then if we put force, what will happen? This block will go some amount in this direction, and this B will come to the new position. Suppose previously this on your B, now it will come here, it is B. Na? Understand? Na? Previously suppose it is this one like that, now it is like that. Question understandable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If it is, now what they are given in the question, that this rod have some weight. So if we consider the mass, that is how much I can take. Mm, let's take mass is 5 kg. Okay, let's take it is. Now if this wedge, this is your wedge, right? Take this angle as a 10 degree. Okay, if it is, find out. Oh, another thing is there, na? Here the coefficient of friction, contact surface, and the coefficient of friction you can take for this for this surface and for this surface. These two different. Here take coefficient of friction, both have different. Take both different. That is, how can we take mu for wedge and floor? You can take 0.2 and take these mu wedge and rod, take as 0.25. Okay, so if you take, this is the wedge and rod, coefficient of friction between wedge and rod. This is coefficient of friction between the wedge and floor. So if it is, then what you have to find out? Find out the minimum value of P. Okay, find out the minimum value of P. So how we can solve this type of problem? Similar manner in the previous one. Here, as we apply this force in this direction, then same way the friction is opposite direction, normal is opposite. So you can take this one as a F2, this one as N2, and here also this is your N1, this is your, if it is go in this direction, this means your friction force is opposite direction. So this is your F1. And if it is, then the trick is in this semicircular arc, or we can say semicircular rod. What is the trick there? uh, can anyone tell me, for hinge joint, what is the, how means in which direction we can apply the reaction force? Can anyone tell me, for hinge joint, means joint A here, in which direction I have to apply for hinge? Anyone? I already taught you actually previously in, means chapter, when we I taught you the chapter 2. In that chapter I already told you, for hinge joint what should be the reaction, in which direction? Any idea? Remember, for hinge joint always we have to apply, if x means, here you can write along x direction some forces is there, along y direction some forces is there, a y. Remember, there is a no specific direction for the reaction force consideration in case of the hinge joint. Okay, so we take both ax and ay, and here this the contact surface between the rod and the wedge, what should be the friction force and the normal direction? That is opposite to the this f1 and n1, because these are the same, this position, this position they indicate. So we have to apply simply n1 and f1, and due to its own weight it will come in this direction. Okay, and that is how much? That is the How much it is? M into G. Another trick in this problem is that you have to know what is the centroid for this curve. This also I already taught you, that what should be the centroid for any semicircular arc? That should be 2r by pi. Remember this thing. In question it is sometimes not given, so you have to remember this thing, otherwise you have to solve, so it will take a long time. So that's why better to remember. For any semicircular rod have some masses, they have the centroid, and that centroid position, if it is this one, that distance is always 2r by pi. Remember this thing. Okay, that two are the trick for this type of problem, in this problem actually specifically. Now I think you can easily solve when all the forces are there. Now please try to understand, as these force are not a concurrent force, right? Means they are not passes through the same point for this semicircular rod. So for this, how to solve the problem? We have to simply apply summation of fx, summation of fy, and summation of mx. Okay, why it is? Because due to this mg there creates some moment. Okay, let's solve one by one. First, see these one, these are the concurrent as well as the coplanar, so we can simply apply the Lamès theorem. So here, how to solve the Lamès theorem for this case? Simply just put p and convert this n2 and f2 into a resultant. So resultant should be in which direction? This is your f, this is your n, so resultant should be in this. So it means your resultant create some angle phi with respect to this. So another force that should be here, that is your r2. So, and that r2 is how much? Phi is given is how much here? How much is given? This is given as 0.2. So this means this is 10 phi wf, you can consider. This is, you can say wf, means with respect to floor and wedge na? So from here you can get phi wf is nothing but tan inverse of mu wf, and that is 0.2. So tan inverse of 2 is how much? Sorry, tan inverse of 0.2, how much it is? How much it is?
11.3.
Okay, it means it is okay, 11 phi ws, 11.3 degree. And another thing is n is in this direction and f is in this direction. So this is your f, this is your n, this is in this direction. Okay, r. So this one is how much? This one is your r1. So this is how much? See, already it is
14.03.
14.03, and along with this 10 degree also added. Why? Because it is already have 10 degree na. I already told you na, this is have 10 degree with respect to horizontal. So this is your, this is your 14 and this is your 10. So total it is 24.03, right? Okay, similarly try to understand this one. If you apply, now solve with respect to, because we have no idea the reaction forces in a na, ax and ay. How to find out? We have to solve the equilibrium equation. So if we consider summation of ma anticlockwise is equal to 0, then with respect to a, just see, with respect to a we have to solve. So n1, or it is better, okay, simply first I have to show you n1, this is your n and this is your, please mute yourself anyone. Okay. So this is your n, this is your f, right? One thing is there, how to convert it into the resultant force system. So that nothing but, if it is your vertical plane, your n is in this direction, f is in this direction, so r should be in this direction. It means this one is your r, this is your 10 degree, and this is your r. So that means this r1 is at an angle of 24.03, na, as you told, 24.03, and this is your mg at a distance 4, sorry, 2r by pi. Another thing, this force, but we are not required this one, because we have find out the moment with respect to point a, na. So how to solve? Very simple. Just resolute this r1 force along, resolute this r1 force along vertical and along horizontal, and you know this is 24-degree. So what we can write, r1 sine, I think this is 0.25, okay. So this is sine 24.03 degree into, how much is this one, into this distance is how much, it is given, radius is 0 0.3, na, 0 0.3 meter. So into 0 0.3, and this is sine component. So sine component, it means this portion, right? This portion. If it is, then this is the positive is anti-clockwise. I already told you anti-clockwise direction of movement is always taken as a positive. So that's why it is a negative, na. Understandable, na. This is in this direction. If it is, then it will create with respect to a moment in the clockwise direction. So that's why it is negative. This moment m, due to this weight, it will create a clockwise moment. So that's why also it is minus mg, and mg is how much, 5 into 9.81 into mg force into distance. Distance is 2r by pi, r is 0.3 by pi. And this vertical force means the vertical component will create a moment with respect to, with respect to joint A or point A is a anti-clockwise, clear, or we can say counterclockwise. So that's why it is r1 cos positive, cos 24.03 into same distance, because it is a radius, same radius, so that is equal to 0. Clear? Up to this, is it clear? Any confusion? Anyone have any confusion up to this? Please tell me at least, is it clear,
Yes,
or any
sir.
confusion? Okay. So yeah, after you can solve, you can find out easily the magnitude of r1, na? Only one variable is there, only one variable, so you can easily find out the r1. Now what you have to do, now put, now you can use the Lamis theorem here. How to solve? See, this is the axis, this is your force p, and and this one is your R2, this one is your R1. Okay, so simply you can put the Lam's theorem here. Simply P by sine, you have to basically find out what in this question. Basically you have to find out this P, na? So for that you need actually the R1. So that R1 actually we find out from this rod, this from here. Now we put the Lam's theorem here. P you know, R1 you know, R2 you know. Sorry, now R1 you know, and R2 is not required to find out. You can also find out, but that is not required for this to solve this type of problem. So you know the angle, right? So P by sine this angle is how much? Uh, how much angle? Value is how much? 24 11, na? This is 11, this is 24. So P by sine 180 minus 11 plus 24, 1, how much it is? 180 minus 35 degree is equal to R1 by sine, R1 by sine, how much? This angle, sine 101 degree. So from here you can find P is equal to R1 into sine 145 degree divided by sine 101 degree. R1, this is for the wedge. Apply force here, so that's why it is here. Is it clear up to this, student? Anyone have any question they can ask? See, basically actually in exam come the most of the part is the numerical problem. That's why I'm emphasize on the numerical problem. Okay. And please try to understand properly, otherwise in exam it is not possible to solve and you maybe have some confusion, so it is better to clear now. Anyone have any confusion in this two please tell me. Is it clear up to this? Hello students, up to this is it clear or anyone have any confusion? Okay, then I end my lecture here. I guess maybe they have not any questions, so thank you.